Hi, Matt with Etrailer. If you have a 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L and you're looking for a set of chains that'll be relatively easy to put on your tires and are going to be able to get you through those moderate snow and ice conditions, but are a little bit more robust or a little bit larger than more of your standard chain sizes, then the Titan Chain tire chain with the assisted tension are going to be a great option for you. And the ones we actually have right here are going to be a size larger than the typical one. These are going to be the ones more designed for trucks. Now, a few things to know is that these aren't Class S chains, and we still have them on today. The reason why I still have them on is because when I reach back here, I still have clearance. There's still a decent amount. It's just one thing when you are driving with them, just keep a close eye on them, just in case they do loosen up and make contact with something. Now we're going to have this on the rear axle as what the manual recommends, and our tire size is going to be 275/55 R20. Now that's just the size we have today. They will fit a variety of other sizes, but if you're not sure this is going to fit your vehicle, you can actually plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find the right one for you. But now we can take a closer look at the specs. So looking at the links themselves, these are going to be square links. So what's nice about square links are since they have that hard or sharp edge to them, it's going to be perfect for biting through that ice and snow. On top of that, like I said, these aren't Class S. They're just slightly larger, so you kind of get in the best of both worlds. So with Class S, they're nice because they're going to leave plenty of space for your suspension, but since these are just slightly larger, we still have that space, but we'll also get a little bit more traction for when we are driving. And we're going to have a diamond pattern to these chains, so that diamond pattern is going to also give us more traction because we're getting a larger surface area. They'll also be made from a nickel manganese alloy, so since they are made of that, they're going to be a little more sturdy, strong compared to some more entry-level chains, and they're going to last longer since they're going to be more corrosion resistant. And if we look at the center, we're going to have our assisted tensioning system. The way this works is we have this chain that runs up and pulls from a few different points, pulling through different points on your chains, and we're going to have this rubber section here. Since that rubber section is able to stretch, we're able to really get out a lot of any slack when we're driving, because what can happen a lot of times is when you're on the road, your chains can shift, and typically when they shift, they usually loosen up, and this is going to prevent that from happening. And your chains will come in a set of two, and they're going to come in this pretty handy bag. What I like about this bag is it's made of a softer material, so it's going to be less likely of scratching or tearing up any of your interior. Very flat, so it doesn't take up much room. And when I open it up, it's going to have these little bags. They're kind of sectioned off, so your chains don't get tangled up together, which is a big plus for me, because if you're already in a sticky situation with where you're getting kind of stuck in the snow, you don't want to have to untangle your chains too. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a pretty good option. Now, I think there's only one that really would compare for me, and that'd be the Koenig assisted tensioning tire chains. Those are also great. They're going to work very similar to this. Only I like its assisted tensioning system a little bit more, since it will have some additional springs and just some other mechanisms to help keep things nice and tight. But this is also great. Either way, you're going to be going with some chains that are just slightly above Class S, but you still have the clearance, so you're not going to make contact with anything. So if I was going to compare it to any Class S ones, there's another Titan Chain tire chain that is Class S that works exactly the same as this, only slightly smaller. And that's something I'd recommend if you are really worried about your chains loosening up and making contact with something. But either way you go, I think all the ones I talked about today are great options. But if you are curious to see what this looks like or how it is to install, just stay tuned. We'll walk you through that process. To start off the installation, I have to grab some gloves just to make this a little bit easier and lay out my chains. So there's going to be a few things I'm going to be looking for, and that's going to be making sure there's no damage to my links. So we're just checking the welds and make sure there's no cracking or any type of scratches or dents. If that looks good, then I'm going to check the orientation. So we're trying to make sure that these hooks on the back end of it are facing up, so we're going to have that flat side facing up. Once we check that, we're going to make sure this gray section here is closest to your tire. After that, we'll go over to the other side and make sure There's no connections made in the center. Once we've done that, then we can put it on our tire. The best way I like to do it is just to push everything to one side, to each relative side, and then we can just kind of chuck it back there. Now you can do this either one of two ways. If you have a lot of snow on the ground, you can kind of throw it back there. If it's icy, it'll probably be easier just to slide it instead. Sometimes you gotta watch out too, because it's gonna get tangled up pretty quickly. So just check it. Once you've done that, then we can start making some connections. The first connection I'm gonna make is gonna be behind our tire. And I'll show you what that's gonna look like. So we're gonna have this metal block. That metal block is gonna go into this channel, just like that. But it's gonna be behind our tire. So to kind of show you what I mean, just lift up, connect it back here, and there you have it. And we're just gonna maintain control of it and drape the rest over the front of the tire. And from here, you're just gonna be taking this green hook and this yellow link and putting them together. And I like to make sure everything's centered up so we have a good even fit. And then we'll come to the bottom. You want to try to make sure this is even too, and you're going to run this gray link through this red channel. Apply some tension to it. Make sure it's pretty tight. And you're just going to run this hook through each one of these eyelets. Just trying to make sure it stays nice and tight. And once you get through the last one, you're going to reach it all the way across and try to make sure it's staying tight. You have even tension. Now, if you're reaching a point where you still have a little bit slack, you can just run it through here one more time. But I still have enough tension on here to make sure I have a good fit. Sometimes I'll even use my body weight to pull this. There we go. Make sure everything stays nice and tight. And afterwards, you can repeat this on the other side. At this point, I'd recommend just testing it out, so either pulling forward or backing up some. Just make sure nothing shifts too much and you still have a good fit. If it does loosen up, just try to tighten it up a bit more. But once it is looking good, then you can take it out for a ride. But that's just a look at the Tact & Chain tire chains with the assisted tensioner on our 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.